Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. And now, please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks.
Thank you, Brian, and welcome to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of this show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact in your own. With that being said, we have got a rock star house today. But Brian, good to see you. We have been on vacation. You went your way, I went my way, and we're back and refreshed and ready to roll, and you haven't missed a beat.
I feel like we've got this pretty down, and we're all in good shape here when it comes to recording. But today's been a little bit special because we have all of this energy in the studio today. I mean, the guests that are here today are absolutely just like pinging at a 10 on energy.
I know we've got some troublemakers in the house, and
that's right.
I'd like to welcome all of you, AJ, Monica, and Kat. Thanks for being here with Good Trouble Ventures. I don't even know where to begin with this because it feels like,
Wow.
Brian on the sound effects, Brian on the turntable.
I meant to do. I'm sorry, I missed it a little bit.
We're all about
for the confetti.
yeah, and the T-shirts being shot out the air gun.
Oh my gosh, we're at a Warriors game. Like, what's happening?
Exactly.
One sound effect, and everybody already is just bursting.
I know, it's great. It's
do
gonna
another one.
You just blew my mind. You just blew my
see where
mind.
that takes
Oh,
us.
see, yes, you just blew my mind.
Yeah.
We are ready for every occasion, but again, I want to welcome you all in. We'll go around the horn really quick so that our audience can get to know you. It feels like we've been doing the show for the last 30 minutes, just in here laughing and having fun. So we'll keep that momentum going. But AJ, good to see you. Second time on the show.
Hey.
Yes, AJ Thomas. So give a little intro for those people out in the world who didn't meet you before. Give a little intro about yourself.
Awesome. I always like to keep things deep and brief, hopefully. But AJ Thomas, founder and general partner here at Good Trouble Ventures. And yeah, I mean, I work at the intersection of talent, product, and teams.
You wear many hats.
I do. Well, I mean, I'm not wearing a hat today.
No, but you did bring a nice hat in.
did.
It's the headphones that kind of vetoed that. Yeah.
You know.
But it's good to see you. You got a lot going on. You're in the process, or have been in the process of putting together an amazing team for Good Trouble. You're still doing a lot of other speaking. You're constantly out there. You rocked it at the event. You sang at the AI Infra. Did you sing?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yes. I co-hosted AI Infra with you, actually. Remember?
Yeah, I was fishing. I wanted you to kind of
we were like, what was it? Regis and Kathy, not Kelly. Regis and Kathy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
We were
I love it. It was a lot of fun. So we'll dive into what you've been up to in a minute, but I want to bring in Monica and Kat. Kat, I'll start with you. Give a little intro. Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks. So fun to be here with my Good Trouble Troublemakers. Kat Steinmetz, and founding general partner here with Good Trouble Ventures. We've been doing this for, 9 months now, I think.
It's about ready to be delivered.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Brian, where was that? Do we have that on the turntable?
Sound effect opportunity for you, Brian. You missed it.
We got to reel Brian back in from time to time. He's got a lot of things going on. He's the plates. He's twirling the plates over there.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
But Monica,
Brian, I let you down. I'll just get my stuff and go.
It's impossible, Brian.
Yes.
So Monica, you've been a part of. Kat, you've been a part of Good Trouble for about 9 months now. What were you doing?
2 weeks in, basically.
2 weeks in.
Yeah, we AJ and I have known each other for a while. We saw each other at the Transform conference, and she said, "Wait, you're leading Initialized Capital, which is where I have been on the investing team for the last 2.5 years." And she said, "I'm becoming an advisor at Google X, and I want you to be a founding partner with me at this new fund." And I was like,
So
okay.
Transform is where it happened. I was
Transform
there.
is where it happened.
I was there. Were you there too?
I was there
Yes.
too.
Were we all there?
We were
Yes,
all there.
absolutely. I didn't know Monica yet, but it was about to happen.
Yes.
There's a lot of people at Transform
A lot
we
of
hadn't
people.
met.
Yes.
All right, a little
And
plug for-
thank you, Samara,
Yeah.
for
She's-
having
Samara.
the amazing Transform
Okay.
conference
Cue
where
Brian.
so many things happen.
So Samara was back on the show, I believe, back in June. She was the first.
She kicked off.
Yeah, she kicked it off.
She's awesome.
Nice.
So Transform will be coming around again in March. Yeah, so that's quickly coming
She
up.
is the ultimate,
People.
community.
Yeah.
Yes, connector.
Totally.
The
Yeah.
node.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the node, the spider,
node.
the node.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so
Yeah.
Kat, before getting involved with Good Trouble, we'll
Yep.
come back to that once we bring Monica into
Yep.
this. But you all have amazing stories, amazing
Yes.
backgrounds. I think we need a longer than an hour show to
Yes.
cover everything.
I think there's a word for that I'd like to introduce, a multi-potentialite. We are all multi-potentialites, which means we are able to connect all the dots.
I just glitched. Like that was such a
So-
big word. I didn't even know how to
I'm
respond.
introducing it. I feel like
All right.
it needs to be here in our space.
I love it.
That.
Yes.
I love that.
Monica, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I have to first say, I think we need to start a dictionary, a cat word dictionary, because she introduced a cattionary. I like it. She introduced another word I'd never heard the other day, which was badassery.
Yes.
I'm like, oh,
One of my
I
values
like
is
that.
badassery. And these ladies are full of badassery, and that's why.
Can I say badass on the radio?
We are now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I
Our
love
children
it.
listening.
Yeah,
I
we're-
didn't- but anyway, it was
Yeah,
awesome
it's a
word.
family
Yes.
show. Please keep it clean.
Yes.
AJ,
Okay.
AJ, keep
Keep it clean.
Most worried about
Never
our social
settle.
media intern.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, Monica, give us a little background and run up on you. What have you been on? Clearly, we're all at Transform, but what is what positioned you to be a part of Good Trouble?
Wow. Well, this was all very not expected. I think that I would say Good Trouble's the gift that keeps on giving. I met AJ a while ago. I don't even remember meeting AJ. I think we've been in a number of circles together, and so I can't pinpoint when that first time was. But as you said, we were all at Transform, and AJ kept talking about Good Trouble, Good Trouble, Good Trouble. I was like, yeah, Good Trouble. Then
She's infectious, right?
She's like, and so
Like COVID. Just kidding.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, she's not like that. Not like that.
Take it back.
No, he won't die. He
no.
won't die, but quite the opposite. You'll get more new life if you encounter
She
AJ.
is contagious, though.
She is,
so.
very much so. And so she just continued to talk to me about it through the spring. And then she's like, yeah, we want you to come in as a venture partner into Good Trouble. And I thought, that's great, because at this time, I had, after a corporate career, I'm probably the most boring here. I've worked for big, companies like Microsoft and Sony and Twitter, and I'd done a couple of roles as a CHRO in a couple of tech companies, and then transitioned out of that to do some advising and investing in startups. And I got involved in advising venture funds. So I was kind of doing that thing. And, so when she said, yeah, come on board and to venture, Good Trouble Ventures as partner, I thought, okay, that's cool. Do some investing in venture. And then 2 weeks in, I remember we were at a dinner and I was about to put a piece of bread in. Yeah. I mean, I like the vibe. It wasn't exactly that kind of dinner. It was more like a corporate dinner. But I think if we had that music, it would have been a good vibe. Maybe I wouldn't have choked on my bread. I was putting a piece of bread in my mouth, and she said, why don't you come on as our CEO? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
So she swung for the fences.
She did.
Yeah.
While I was like enjoying my piece of bread and the jazz music in my head, I guess in the background, like Brian, we enacted.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so that's
I love the riff right now. I love the ad lib that we got going on right here.
Oh, yeah.
So you were all people oriented, like people focused. You have the
Yes.
CHR. All of you have human resources. Am I saying it right? CHRO, talent.
Culture.
Yeah, and when it comes to startup and finding those good teams, those good people, this seems to be kind of the angle for Good Trouble Ventures and what it comes to become a portfolio company. Like, do you have good people?
Yes.
What do you...
And we know how to really help people to be successful.
Yeah.
So we know how to pick good leaders and founders and help them succeed.
Yeah. I think we've all been coaches, like for
Yes, we're
senior
all
executives
coaches as
at like really difficult kind of assignments with maybe challenging leaders. And it's kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. I was like, I'm not sure if this is like a good path for me. But what I learned, what these ladies helped me see, was the key to picking winners in venture is the talent. And so we're experts at that. I mean, we size people up really quickly. It's actually kind of scary. And then we're also really clear about what teams need, what individuals, leaders, and teams need to succeed. So that's the secret sauce, I think, of what we
Is that traditionally what... I mean, I've talked to a ton of VCs and angels and family office where they're looking to put their money. It's usually, what's the pain point? Is the timing right? Is the solution, is this a good product? But you're putting people first. And maybe, you know, the team is top 4, but really what sounds like it may be the number one thing that you're looking for in terms of a fundable company. Would that be accurate, AJ, when you kicked off this fund? Was that really what you're looking for?
Well, I mean, like we started with troublemaker mindsets, right? As like how we think about building the teams, like as we're bringing on more people on board now as we're growing, and then also how we look at even having conversations with different founders. It's core to our due diligence process and what we're thinking about when we're speaking with folks and insights that we learn about folks. I mean, some of these things, like you'll hear us, I think I talked about this last time, you know, it was like dream big, stay ambitious is one of these mindsets for us.
Wait, ambitious.
There's your next word.
Yeah, okay. I'm taking notes.
Dictionary.
Yeah, it's the ability to be both humble but also ambitious in your pursuit of whatever that purpose is that you're moving toward, right? And I think there's a certain level of maturity and post-ego-ness that comes with somebody who can show up as ambitious, because they can be really all in on that goal or the thing that they're after, but they're never too baked in to say, I can't pivot. Which, you know, when you're starting a company, you're going to be a little bit of a professional dancer. There's going to be a lot of pivots, right? You're going to be turning, you're going to be doing all these things. And so I think having the ability to still keep your vision and see what's on the horizon, but to be able to be humble enough to know, oh, there's a lot of things I can actually learn also.
So integrate this. So oftentimes when we're looking at the quality of individual on the team, even the founder, we're looking for 3 things. And there are 3 C's, but you gave me another one. It's character, credibility, and competency. You know, do they know their stuff? They have to be smart.
That's right.
And do they have the credible track record and then the character to back it up? Are they a good person? But I'm hearing on this humble part and the ability to pivot, there's almost like another C, which I love, is creativity.
Oh, yeah.
Are they constantly creating for their market what they need, as opposed to creating something that they're just in love with, because that could actually kill a startup.
Absolutely.
Right? They fall in love with their idea. They fall in love with their idea, but yet nobody wants it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally makes me think of DJs that only play for themselves and not the audience. As a longtime musician, that when you watch that, you're just like, this is terrible, because they are playing for themselves. And they're like, I have a set and this is the set I'm playing. I don't care what the audience wants. I don't care what time of night it is. This is what I'm playing. And it just like kills the dance floor. So it's the same idea. Like, are they able to actually attune? Can the person attune to what is, read the room and see what is actually alive? Yeah.
And I'll just add another C to that. In fact, we have our 5 C's. Did you read our strategy? Did we share with them our strategy?
No. Is this a need for spoiler alert at this point?
Okay. We're not going to give it all the way right now. Okay. But another C that kind of ties to what Kat was saying was community. Yeah. Because, you know, this is not a business that you do solo. You know, you're constantly learning from others. And I think you're also pulling people together who have expertise in areas that you don't. I don't care how wonderful you are, you don't know everything about everything.
That's right.
And so it doesn't mean you're not smart or competent in your particular lane or multiple lanes, but it means that you need to be open to hear, listen from others and build that community around you. So when you have a need to tap into the expertise you don't have, the folks are right there. Yep. They're right there, like ride or die. They're with you. And people feel a part of something greater than themselves when they come together in that way.
It's beautiful. Can I add another C to this?
Yeah, let's go.
I got a few C's too. Go.
Yeah. It's a very visionary fun. We got a lot of, we can see a lot. Okay. Yes. So as I was saying, where was my sound effect for that?
I know, Brian. Come on, like, get off of Snapchat.
I'm actually doing other stuff back here.
Oh, look at this.
Just listening for sound effects. TikToking. I apologize. I'm going to try and like triple task here.
That's the beauty of this. Well, no, so as Monica was saying, I think one of the big intentions for us as a fund was we didn't just want to go in and cap table the crap out of everybody. We actually wanted to build a very intentional coalition. And so we have our Troublemaker Coalition. You know, we are a fund that focuses on investing in the technology that powers the future of entertainment and creativity. And in order to do that, I mean, we're all people. We're all very creative people. But what we said was, what would it look like if we brought in and reimagine our structure as a team, not even as a fund, just as a team to bring the right perspectives in. And, that's been very fruitful for us because we have, typically VC funds would have what you'd call like an entrepreneur in residence. We made an investment early on to bring in what we call a creative in residence. These creative in residence, we could talk about Rob and Brenton and the team that we've brought in, give us really the ground truth in the industry where we are looking to invest and look at what the future of that looks like, right? And that's really important to us because there's an authenticity to that you cannot replicate with just knowing the financials. Of course, the financials are baseline. Like we have to know there's an opportunity, there's a market, it's investable, it's VC scalable, all of that. But at the end of the day, we're not just going to come here from our tech backgrounds to say, hey, we're going to ride on this horse and say, okay, now we're going to revolutionize entertainment and creativity. We have to do that together and co-create that. Right?
There you go, Brian.
I'm trying to keep up here, AJ.
Building the community.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. So, I feel like you're getting in the zone, like, right? That's really your sweet spot. But we're this idea about building community.
Yes.
Unpack that for a founder or a new fund manager who is just assuming that if I have the data, which is almost like the prerequisite, like you have to have that's but this
baseline.
unique positioning of knowing people, building community. So from a startup's perspective or a fund manager's perspective, how do you do that? What are the most basic steps? Because I think we all do that kind of naturally, but how would we kind of put on the mind of a student, a learner, a beginner, and do that?
Well, yeah, you guys want to say? I mean, like curiosity is huge.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Openness,
So, yes.
right? You come in and people feel an open energy, like Brian was saying. We can just feel it's palpable in here, right? And we say, like, we generate goodwill. And I would say, like, the founders we look at and the people we have in our coalition, they generate goodwill, right? People want to be around them. So that just starts multiplying, that sort of multiply factor, right? Is that people are like, oh, I want to be a part of this. And I would say, like, that's got us, in a lot of places before we even had anything, an entity to legally. It was just like, oh, we're creating something that people already are like, I want to do this with you. I love the name. I love the energy. I love what you guys stand for, of what all this is. And I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But I think what's also unique about knowing you, AJ, I know you're good at this, and I'm feeling it from these two for the first time, is that there's not this open door and says, hey, come in. That's one thing.
Discerning.
Yeah, there's like, oh, I see what you're good at, and it would give you a sense of belonging, and we want you to engage in that. So we're going to plug you into that, and we trust that you can create and contribute. Another C.
Hey.
We see it all today, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
But there's that connective tissue of like, hey, show up and contribute.
Okay, I'll break it down in a couple of things, right? Because a lot of this business is also around trust. Any good business that you set up, any friendship, any relationship, it's all around trust, right? And so I think what you're saying here, Brian, and what I think we've keyed into, I have a power question that I like to ask people. Anyone that I meet that is new, anyone that we're introduced to, it's literally leaning into what's in it for what they're looking at, right? So my question is always, if you're a founder out there or you're emerging fund manager, if you're in these networking things, find somebody in the room and just ask them, get to know them a little bit, but then ask them, what are you birthing right now that you're so excited about? Because you're going to learn, right, what they're looking at. And sometimes they're a little bit caught off guard because it's usually, well, what do you do? Right?
Yeah.
Stop asking the what do you do question. Ask people, like, what are they excited about? What are you excited about right now? What's lighting you up, right? I mean, because there's that curiosity that I think when you ask a question that is selfless of your pursuit of what can I get from that person and is really, of a goodwill nature of saying, maybe there's something that I can connect them to whatever the next opportunity is, or even just getting to know them, it's huge, right?
Yeah.
And the other piece on the curiosity front is this act of belonging, right? And so how do you get others to feel belonging? What I always say is, if we really truly know who we are, we can belong in any room that we're in. We don't have to seek approval or anything from others. It sounds so esoteric, but I will tell you, when you're in a room with a bunch of people you don't know, And then you start seeing people coming together and you're like, well, I don't really know this and that. But if you know what you bring to the equation, you can participate every time and you can be your authentic self. I think that's the big piece.
Yeah, I think so many people shut that down, though.
I don't know why.
From a professional perspective, they put on the mask.
Yeah.
They lead with what they've done, what they accomplished, and they
That's
think
societally, right?
Yeah.
What we've been trained to do, right? It's like that's what you lead with.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's exciting with this group and the people that we have tracked is that we're more about the authenticity, right? We'll just be yourself, and we really stand for people's flourishing.
Yeah. I think people also fear rejection. So they create a facade of themselves that they think will be acceptable to other people. And so that's why
we're trained to do this.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
we're handed a set of
Societally,
tools
we are,
from our
for
parents
sure.
and from
We
our
are.
bosses and from our
Yes.
teachers.
Yeah.
Sit down, be quiet,
Yeah.
learn what you're
That's
supposed
so
to learn,
true.
recite it
Right.
back to me once you've raised your
Yeah.
hand and been called on, right? And so
Yeah.
you kind of
Stay in
just
your
get
place.
this groove.
Yeah,
that-
you do.
Yeah.
And I think because of people like you, we're in an era where maybe that's actually that facade is being torn down.
Well, look, I think,
Disrupting
regardless of what, your mother taught you or your father taught you or society's messages are to you, when you become of age and you get to be an adult, you get to choose who you are. And you can choose that you
Amen.
are the person that someone else expects you to be or society expects you to be, or you can choose to be who you authentically are. And so, instead of fearing what people might say or rejecting you, you can kind of get out of your own head and get out of yourself and that spotlight on yourself and really focus on others. And then think about, what can I do when I understand their dream or what they're birthing? How do I help enable that? How do I help accelerate that? And you do that enough over time, back to your question on community. Now you've got real authentic relationships with people. I mean, a lot of these folks in our coalition and our community, these are people we've known. We've worked with in other places. And so the other thing I would say to your question about community is, it is something that you build over time. And you build trust over time by being more focused on how you can help and accelerate the dreams of others than, oh my God, what did they think of me?
Can I disrupt the sea trend? I think there's another.
There's a sea of change coming.
There's a sea of change. There's a sea level, right? The sea level has changed. But I think there's a hyphen to curiosity. It's a curious vulnerability.
Yeah. That's
Where you-
the authenticity.
Yeah, where you almost
Authenticity
have
comes from
to
vulnerability.
say what you love about what you do
Yes.
rather than just the do.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You have to
And-
stand for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think I was talking with a friend of mine the other day. He's also a VC, and we talked about the importance of pain. Right, and oftentimes we say, "Oh no, why pain? Why this?" But really, entrepreneurship is built on pain. Whether you're solving a problem that you've experienced yourself, or you're identifying it in some other market that people are experiencing, and you're going into that. And so you bring the curiosity, but usually with the curiosity comes this idea that I've been there.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Yes.
I've been there, and so the ability to lead with that.
Yes.
That vulnerability, like, hey, I don't have all the answers, but you can rest assured I'm solving this problem.
Yeah, I would also
You
say
blew my
pain.
mind. Thank you, Brian.
Pain.
I would also say pain in the sense of, like, everything isn't going to go your way all the time. Because whenever you're building a business, whether it's a venture fund, whether you're a founder, whether you're building a family, whatever you're building, things are not going to 100% go your way in the exact right time that you believe it should go. And so there could be some pain associated with, gosh, my expectations were missed. This wasn't what I envisioned. This is taking longer than I thought. And so, we're getting out of the seas. It's so important to have the sense of resilience, when you're building anything.
I would add another C, which
Yeah.
is you're building your capacity.
You're building your,
We're
I love
building
that.
your capacity, and that's
Yeah.
resilience, and that's grit, and that's all these things to hold things, right?
Yeah.
To hold pain, to hold joy. Some people have a hard time with joy stuff, right?
That's
it's like, oh, it's
true.
too much. I actually can't deal with that. So it's like we're open to all that. The curiosity and the openness is for that, and building our capacity.
And I think you can really appreciate joy when you have had some pain.
Exactly.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
You know,
I mean,
'cause
who
you
hasn't
don't-
seen Inside Out? Come on.
I actually
One of my favorite movies.
Pain. Oh, she realizes Joy literally realizes that we need the crying first
Yeah.
in order to get
To
to
appreciate
the joy.
the
We need
joy.
to appreciate
Yeah.
that, and that it's like that. All of that is together.
Yeah.
I'm a big acronym person, and I think this just came to me right now. But pain is like, please acknowledge insights now. Like there's something happening, and if you're feeling it,
For those of you who may have missed it at first, please, acknowledge insights now.
that's right, pain.
Okay, sorry. I'm the slow kid in the class. I had to double back.
Big Trouble Dictionary.
And also, here's another one: joy.
Joy. Yes.
Joy.
Just overcome yourself. Just laugh. It's okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Experience it.
I'm
We
doing
definitely love to laugh. We are very
I'm
into
doing
it.
that as a recovering perfectionist by being messy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the permission to be messy
Yes.
leads
Permission.
then
There's another one.
Yeah.
it leads to creativity.
Yes,
Back to the
that's
C's.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Chaotic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Well,
say
chaos.
no.
There we know. Another
Yes.
C.
The
Here we
chaos
go.
pilot
It
in the
just
house.
keeps going
Yeah.
on and on.
I always like to say, like, when people are like, introduce yourselves, like, I'll do it in 6 words. I'm a former chaos pilot making good trouble.
Former chaos pilot. I don't think former.
Yeah, you're at the
Where did
peak.
the
You're-
former come from? I think that's part of being, a good troublemaker is having a little
Exactly.
chaos.
So let's go
with
back
it.
to the beginning. I mean, this is great insight, and I love the opportunity for our audience to gain some emotional intelligence from this conversation. Where did the name Good Trouble come from? How did you land on that?
Yeah, so I think I talked about this in the podcast prior, but Queen Cora Coleman, who is our co-founder, we actually were having this really interesting conversation, and this was before Transform, because she'd come in and she was doing the DJ, like kind of setting the vibes, and I was emceeing. And what was really interesting there was backstage was we were having this conversation just around her industry and the entertainment and media side, and then on the tech side, and just some frustrations around there's got to be better ways, because if you think about the intersection of entertainment and technology, right, we talk about this all the time, is the 2 most powerful levers that actually can shape and shift culture and create economic opportunity. But you have to build the right bridge to make that happen. So Good Trouble is an homage to the movement that was started by Senator John Lewis, who really pointed at humanity and equality, and that the significance of crossing that Selma Bridge, right, for the right to vote, right? And I think there's just a lot in the entertainment and media industry, especially as we're learning with our communities that we're, involved with and we're co-creating with, that there is an inequity here, right? The investment, the technology, and the impact that's needed to come together. I think we are at an opportune time to actually create that kind of good trouble in this space. And so that's where it came from for us. And we were like, ooh, Good Trouble Ventures. Okay, and then we can call everyone Troublemakers. And I was like, okay, this is it. So it was really that like conversation around the intention behind what that could look like, right? And then also just the novelty of like, who is this on the cap table? Like Good Trouble? What? What is that?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, love it.
I was talking to a friend of mine who was relaying a story about being in the room with the late Senator John Lewis, and the folks in the room that he was speaking with were all people that we would say were doing amazing things in their space.
Yeah.
And of all the things they talked about, the one thing she remembered from that meeting was that he said to all of these amazingly accomplished people, "You're not doing enough. There's more in you. There's more you can do." And that's something we can ask ourselves every morning, when we get up is, regardless of what people might think of me, or whether people have done this before, whether I should be doing this or somewhat they should be doing this, right? The question is, are you doing enough in the space that you have been given to influence? And I think if we all did that every day, whether it's being kinder, whether it's being more courageous, another C, whether it's being more forgiving of ourselves, that's the kind of world that I believe is the spirit that Senator John Lewis was speaking that we could create.
And we are embodying a lot of that in how we talk to our founders.
Exactly.
I mean, we will take these founder meetings and they're like, are you guys really VCs? Like,
Yeah, are you guys for real?
Because you're asking us really questions around like, how we're thinking about the intention of what we're forming. It's like, well, because we care about that, right? We care about what you're going to birth into the world next as well. And it's really important for us, right? And so there's this signal that we're also getting that founders are hungry for people to actually see them, right? That, you know, and we are hungry for founders to see that we're not just a check we're going to write.
That's right.
You know, because this is the kind of thing that we want to birth into the world, is the kind of Good Trouble in this portfolio. And we just happen to focus on, you know, entertainment and media, the creator economy, and sports. Like those are the three areas. Those are very influential areas.
Yeah.
And we believe if we do that, what AJ just described, that the returns will be there. The returns will come.
Baseline.
So it's not like if we're not thinking about, you know, returns of our investors. Of course we are.
Totally.
But the pathway to get there is more in line with some of the things we've actually been talking about all through this show.
So I don't mean to kind of leap off this track, but it's top of mind for me right now as I kind of experience more and more how you all think. But the energy that comes from you, the confidence, the leadership, and I mean, the one thing that it's really popping for me right now is the fact, and it hasn't even been said by either of you, is the fact you have 3 strong women in here, GPs leading the charge, that are commanding respect, providing love, providing community, and providing a ton of insight and intelligence. But you're not leading with that. It's just like you're here.
It's just who we are.
It's just who you are, and that.
No need to prove ourselves.
Yeah, it's like you're not you're not asking for permission, right? It's like, no, you just show up, and you really you 3 together really like command the room. And I love that. The fact that you come in so confidently and you don't need to almost like validate, right? By putting that out there. It was just, and so
I deserve to be here and I'm worthy of being here. And whatever I don't know, I can learn.
Yeah. Thanks, Mercedes. Always coming in with the valuable wisdom from a 16-year-old entrepreneur.
16 years old.
Yes.
You should call her. She would fit in beautifully.
I love it.
But I mean, the stats are out there when it comes to women investors, startups, that you do really well. I mean, chime in on that. Was that kind of the design, or is that just kind of the way it fell?
Yeah, I mean, the research is there, right? It just shows that women leaders, right? Women entrepreneurs, women founders, we have the stats on our side. We have the data on our side. We could cite all kinds of things, you know, that show that. But we've been in the trenches, right? As leaders, as executives, as coaches, as founders for 20 years. So we know this to be true. We don't need to prove ourselves. And I think a part of also what you're feeling is like we assume the best of each other, and that there's like this very deep trust here and faith, right? There's like this faith and trust about where we're going and how we're going to get there. And so it's just, it's not a difficult thing for us to feel and continue to generate.
That's probably one of the things, like, I mean, as we were getting started on this venture, there's many things that can go wrong when you start something new. And what's really been awesome is, you know, the time that we have spent in the bunker together, right? Like, we have this amazing faith that no matter what, we got each other's back. And that's really hard to find. Because, I will say something maybe very unpopular, like when you are in circles where there are a lot of women, it sometimes turns into a crab mentality if you're not careful, right? But I think here what's awesome is like we all have different perspectives, we all have different strengths and spikes, but we share the same values around where we want to go. And that was evident for me when, you know, I'm usually like, we're going to go do this thing, and I've got this like insatiable, like, move fast. And, you know, I know that I can lean on a Monica and a Kat to catch me when I get too hard on myself if it doesn't turn out the way that I'm thinking it should happen, right? There's a compassion and a care around that. And when we talk about founders and mental health, I mean, that's another statistic, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Like we care about, you know, as the founders that we're investing in the portfolio that we are curating, that there's also that amount of care and, like you said, love. Yeah. Right. In this process. And I think it requires trust.
I love what you're exemplifying in terms of the quality of the person matters. It's not just money first. I mean, we're in the money game, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's a given. That's like table stakes.
It is,
right?
exactly, right. But I love it. Brian, we need to take a break real quick, but when we come back, we'll continue to dive deep with Good Trouble Ventures.
Sweet.
Okay. At break, Brian, we're back from break. Welcome back. That's the thing when you're not supposed to fall asleep right now because we said okay.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, okay. And, we're really back.
If you want to put that thing back in the
so I got some Good Trouble swag. I got a Good Trouble water bottle. Yeah, check that out. We got stickers all over the studio. We've got shirts. We've got hats.
You're a troublemaker, Brian.
I am officially a
troublemaker.
Troublemaker, yeah. And I will wear that proud.
Yes.
But you guys are going all in on marketing and positioning. But again, it's not so much.
It's subtle.
It's subtle,
It's
right?
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Yeah, and I feel like I know.
Kids club.
Yeah,
The cool kids.
I love it. So during the break, we kind of, again, as we usually do, we start chatting about the first half hour of the show, and we were going back to how the team was put together and what was the mindset, and it was just this idea of good people coming together as opposed to three amazingly powerful women. And we're going to be investing in women. It wasn't that. It was just good people looking for other good people with good ideas.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there was no intentionality. I mean, if you were to take our names off and look at our backgrounds, you'd be like, oh, wow, this is like, wow, I can see why these folks are GPs. I can see why they're doing what they're doing. And even our founders, like we've met some incredible, amazing founders.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And they're just all walks of life. We talk with them because they have great ideas. And there just happen to be women. There happen to be, people of color. There's white dudes. There's older folks, young in their 20s, just getting started. Like, we don't really care. We're just looking for people we feel can scale their idea, that have good ideas, that are scalable, and that can benefit from what, we can offer through our community and our coalition, as well as ourselves, obviously.
I love it. And so we were talking about what would also be a good ROI right now. You guys are in the process of stepping on the scene, right? Ba-boom. And it's not just you three. You've got a whole world behind you.
Right.
You've built that community. Right. Who are some of the other players in Good Trouble that have made this possible and will make such a great fund and team possible moving forward?
Absolutely. I mean, I talked about our structure of, we have our GPs, we have our venture partners, we have our creatives and residents, and we have our coalition. And actually, Kat, can you talk a little bit about Philip? Because he was like our first believer.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, when AJ came to me and said, do this with me, the first person I went to is, my best friends, him and his wife, Philip Rosedale, creator and founder of Second Life, First Virtual World, and just somebody who I trust beyond all things, all people.
So just for the purpose of our audience, the way that they can kind of tie this together for them is, you had the early adopters, you had each other. You said, okay, this is going to be the kind of the tip of the iceberg. But you identified somebody.
I went right to Philip because I trust him more than him and his wife Yvette. They're my family, and I just said, "Am I doing this?" And we just talked through it for a couple hours, and he was like, do this is great, and I'll be your advisor, I'll be your venture partner. And so he really came on with the confidence of that, and that helped a lot for us to just sort of get this momentum of like, okay, we've got our first person to really help us and back us up and give us good advice. And he's been that for us, and then we've just continued to add, right? Samir Kumar from Turmeric Capital, also a 20-year friend of mine, really amazing. Kat Hernandez, also
by Q Hamarani.
Yep, exactly. So we have amazing advisors, and then the coalition just started to come together.
Coalition's interesting. So like we're really looking at this intentional design of the collision of creatives, technologists, and impact-driven troublemakers. And when I talk about impact-driven troublemakers, let me demystify that. It's anyone who is in a position to make a decision about a thing, right? Policymakers, executives, folks that are in these communities that tend to be the bellwether for things as things move and change in culture. And so we've had the opportunity, so a couple of our creatives in residence that we have are, Brenton Gieser, who's an amazing film and documentarian. We've known each other since our early 20s, actually, in college. And he was actually on the board of my nonprofit when we had started Infuse Program Foundation. But he's an award-winning documentary filmmaker who knows about the industry and what that looks like, and where we can ask questions. And they even come and attend our Portco meetings to help check us, right? And it's so awesome because the founders that are coming in are like, wow, they actually know the vertical that we're in as well, and you have surrounding of that. Another one, our other creative in residence is Rob Lewis. He is a Grammy Award-winning producer. Has worked 30 years with Babyface, 20 years with Christina Aguilera, the New Kids on the Block. I mean, pretty much every pop and boy band, and has really, coming from the Berklee College of Music, really was a purist of the art, and became really this, skeptic turned believer around AI and what that can bring to an entire industry. I mean, he, one of the things that he had been involved with us was creating his own digital AI twin as a producer, composer, and arranger. And being able to create IP around that and what that looks like on the entertainment standpoint. So it's very interesting, the folks that we have. Bosco Conte, another Grammy Award-winning producer. Jelani Johnson from Macro, which is a really large kind of like film and talent agency that represents underrepresented stories. Maybe talk about James.
James Andrews. He's out of LA. He's a venture partner, and he's got a lot of different experiences in music and venture, but in sports as well. And so he works with us very closely in developing our sports investment strategy, and we rely on him quite a bit. He attends Portco meetings with us, and then just helps us think through strategically different events to be at, how to show up to really get more integrated in that community.
So I'm hearing two things. One, they're completely separate of each other. One is going to be how you built your network over time, because you just didn't decide to do a fund and all of a sudden start reaching out.
No.
These are relationships you're leaning
years.
on.
Sure.
Through years.
Yep.
I'm going to come back to that one, but I heard you drop something, AJ, that I think is very important for somebody to have on their team. It sounds like you said you had somebody on your team that's constantly challenging you.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Definitely.
You have the devil's advocate in the room,
Yes.
because you got to stress test your ideas.
Yes. Our thesis, for
Right.
sure.
So though we're talking a lot about your common traits that brought you together, there are character qualities that you had to go to the other end of the spectrum to make sure that your strategy was effective and challenged you. Talk a little bit about finding that individual, or maybe creating that that component of the coalition.
The environment.
Well, we have also technology folks in it. Like Arvin Casey is a really prime example. He's a current chief people and systems officer at Roblox, a former CIO at Palantir. I mean, I go to him a lot for advice on certain things that have to deal with, how do you think about technology and culture? How does that come together? And he's always challenging me on things. I mean, our team ourselves, we challenge each other.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Monica and I, Kat and I mean, when we're on the phone, we're in our partners meeting. I mean, it's very different perspectives. The underlying factor of being able to challenge is the ability to tell the truth without blame or judgment. Exactly. And I think we have that in spades, right? And so I think you have to be able to be in a position where you can hear the hard things and you welcome that.
That's right.
Right? And this coalition that we have, like Rob, we were on a call with him. Remember, we hung up and he was like, no, I don't think so. This is not it. Like, these are the three things I'm worried about.
You're not making this investment.
Yeah,
that's right.
Look around the corner here. Here's what it looks like really in the industry.
Yeah.
And then we sit down and we say, okay, how do we actually give back that insight so that the founder is equipped with that perspective that it can help them shape to whatever the next meeting is.
Even if we don't invest.
Even if we don't invest. And I think that's so important.
Absolutely.
Because, many of founders have been ghosted by VCs, right? And I think the important part for us is that we always want to come away that if we know we're not going to, we at least can do an insight for them that can help them in their next meeting, or a connection.
Yeah, to help them. I think, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say,
me.
I think the first part is creating a culture where you can feel free to bring up a point of view that may be a contrarian point of view, and that you can receive a point of view that's different than your own. I think if you create that culture, and that starts by asking questions and curiosity and listening, all those things we talked about, then it's not hard to attract people that want to be a part of that culture. People who don't want to be a part of that culture, that's not going to be attractive to them. So it starts with, our own internal environment, and then leveraging the folks who have different experiences, so bringing them in. When we started doing that, our Portco meetings, I think, got a little spicier and a little more interesting.
Yeah.
And then also there's also been times where people have given us advice, and they may have been very seasoned, but it didn't resonate with our spirits. Yeah. And so we can also feel free to say,
that's not right for us.
We appreciate that. And we appreciate them without saying, well, we have to do what they tell us. Because quite frankly, you can have people from Monday to Sunday steering you in many ways. And by the time you're done, you don't know which way is up. So you have to also feel confident and firm in what resonates with you at the most guttural level. Check it with each other and be okay with saying, no, that's actually not the direction we're going to go.
So you have your values that are really anchored with a conviction.
That's right.
Yep.
And no matter what may need to be done on the surface, you have that.
Yeah. We can go back to those values. And like you're saying, like that buzzword, we create psychological safety for each other, right? It's that combination of like holding ourselves and each other accountable with compassion. Which is, really the unlock, right?
It's huge because, we've been in conversations where we're like, wow, there is an LP that really wants to invest. And we were in a conversation where we were like, actually, no, let's not do that, because it would take us in a totally different direction. So for the founders that are listening out there, not every check is equal. Right. You have
not
every
money.
partner is the right partner for you.
Yeah.
That's right. And so
you have to have the right partner.
And so I think challenge yourselves to think about what are the questions you need to ask of your internal team, as Monica was saying, to have that kind of fortitude, because that's how you can build a sustainable company. Right, is that you're not just going with wherever the wind takes you, right? And you build that not only expertise, but that foundation that allows for the hard things to weather when things do come around. Otherwise, you're confused, and it is chaotic all over the place. Right.
It's like know thyself, but also be very open to feedback and change. Right.
And so real quick, Brian, just to land on the coalition. We all talk about how we like-minded people. I think the intention with the coalition for us is we like-missioned people. We actually value people who have a different perspective, and it may not be the same like mind that we have, but they are grounded on this vision, and that allows for us to actually create this alchemy within the coalition that gives us broader perspective.
True diversity of thought. True diversity. Really asking, bringing that in.
And at the same time, I'll just add aligned in values.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Aligned in mission, aligned in values, different experiences and perspectives.
So what I feel is so unique about you three is you've identified the hill you pretty much die on, regardless of how it manifests. Like you're creating a fund, you're creating, something in the startup ecosystem, but you have your values, and these are the hills that you're going to essentially die on, and it revolves around, trust and faith and connectivity, building community.
And good business. Because all of that, everything you just said there, that's good business.
Yeah.
That is.
So I have a question.
That's what the research shows too.
From the perspective of a founder who's just coming in with, say, maybe one or two other, founding members, when do they bring in the people? And the people person, right? Because sometimes you'll have an engineer, they're building an AI set or something.
Sooner than later. Boy, does the research show. I just read another of 100 articles just yesterday and was talking to a founder about this. The research clearly shows the sooner you bring in someone that focuses on culture and people, the better that company does. The later, the less well they do.
That's our Opus clip for the coming months. So that's great.
So I believe though that that's not common. Would you agree with that?
It's not.
The belief of that is not as common. Yeah, I would say it's getting more so. I heard Mark Andreessen say that on something recently, and I was like, yes, someone who's so like more traditional, and I would guess, right, attributed to be more traditional in VC, but him saying absolutely the stats show. The
And you
data
worked
shows.
with him.
I did not Mark Andreessen. I worked with Gary Tan at
Gary
Initialized
Tan,
Capital.
okay.
Yeah, and he would definitely be on this train.
Oh,
Gary's
totally.
very much about people. But yeah, even Mark was like, no, the data shows the data shows. But you're right, it's not necessarily a belief out there that is true, but I think the tide has turned more, especially during COVID and other things.
Yeah. I mean, I would even say that venture funds need to take that same advice.
Yep.
I advise a couple of venture funds, but it's shocking to me how many venture funds don't have someone within their, team that can help that venture fund think about investments from a culture and people perspective. I have done tons of mergers and acquisitions throughout my corporate career, and I will tell you, generally, the reason why those don't work well, it's because of culture. It's because of people and issues related to how decisions are made. Because oftentimes there's these conversations about the technology, there's conversations about, the financials are going to look great. And that's the barometer. But to ignore the other side of it, the talent, the people, the culture, I think is just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's that sentiment of like, we think we're thinking beings who feel, but we are feeling beings who think. And whether you want to believe that or not, it is the truth. We are emotional beings.
And to just, ratchet through this with, or land this with the tech founders that are your audiences, right? One of the things that I've been learning and really been talking about is this intersection of technology and humanity and how to think like an architect when it comes to your culture. So if you're like an engineer, of course you're thinking about it already, but how do you manifest that? And so what I've found, because also with my work with the Troublemaker Lab and coaching a lot of founders and CEOs, especially in the tech space, is it is like a tech stack. It's 3 layers. You got your operating system, your application layer, and your feature layer. Right? For the engineers that are listening right now, or the architects listening right now, the way to kind of translate that is your operating system is your mission, your vision, and your values. Your application layer are the teams that have to bring that to life. And then the features are really the goals, the targets, the OKRs, the milestones, etc.
Change. Yeah.
Figure out where you're debugging. As a leadership team, where are you spending a lot of your time? If you're debugging at the feature layer, chances are you're going to spend more money, more cycles, more time on things that are actually not going to be good for the capacity you need to create to accelerate your business. And so find out how you can go back to your operating system layer and go, gosh, if that target or that quarterly earnings was not what we needed, or that ARR is off, what is it about the other layers in our cultural architecture that enable for us to succeed there, right? And so there's a way in which you can kind of translate that so it doesn't feel so esoteric, but the research does show that bringing in, that mindset, I'm not even going to say it's a hire or a role or an HR person. Everybody in your company matters. I mean, if you're a startup right now and there's 2 co-founders, you just hired a 3rd person and you're interviewing that 4th person that's going to join, that is 25% of your company. You got to have that, deeper sense of how are you thinking about architecting that? Because that's your foundation of your culture.
And I would also reiterate that I think culture, it's not a person. It's every single human that is stepping into your proverbial doors of your company is going to influence culture, particularly at those early stages when there may only be a handful of people that are running the company. It's going to set the stage for the rest of the folks you bring in.
Yeah. And I think it's important to say, like, we believe this human first, culture first equates to extraordinary returns.
It does.
We believe that, and we have the data to back that up.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. So, I mean, I want to make sure I give you all an opportunity to describe what's next now. I mean, we've been going deep with insight, but let's get a little foresight. What I know you guys are in the process of, again, building
Stepping
out.
out.
Yeah, stepping out. But what are some things from a high level maybe that are next for Good Trouble Ventures?
Yeah. Monica, you want to lead on that one?
Wow, there's a lot that's going on in the pot. Quite frankly, we're going to leave here. We're going to all jump on a plane and we're heading to LA. There's a ton ton of meetings that we're going to have with a bunch of folks down there that potentially we'll do some partnership and activation activities with. We also had a very successful dinner in LA talking about the intersection of creativity and entertainment and technology, and just the conversations that came as a result of that. Again, it's spreading goodwill, but it's also kind of spreading our brand too. So as a result of that, we're going back to follow up with folks who want to spend more time to talk with us, and they might be interested in investing. They might be interested in being a part of the coalition. They may want to interest to other folks, deal flow, all of that. So, I mean, what's next? All of the above. A, B, C, D, check, all the above. E.
Yeah, we just did a great activation also with the Recharge Miami in Miami during Art Basel, which was amazing because I think the conversation there was around how art is an asset. And it's not just art you look at. It's art you experience, that you hear, that you feel, all of those things. And I think the future of entertainment and creativity is bright. But also, we know from our coalition and the community that we've been a part of that technology isn't always something that industry has access to at the deepest levels. And so one of the things that's, really interesting for us is really putting that together. I mean, what if we could have a hackathon not at a Google or a Microsoft, but on the Sony Pictures lot? Right? What if we could bring creatives and artists and have them realize what it looks like here in the Valley and how the technology is created and understand the history of that? So I think for us, it's just this, as we move towards our purpose, we know, we're getting deal flow right now. We can't even handle all of the meetings of all the founders who want to come in and meet with us right now. Yeah. And we have to really be intentional also around this ecosystem that we're creating. And so I think for us, it's always just going to be a focus on that and a relentless focus on this is our vintage portfolio. Right, this is going to be the first things out of this. So it's very important for us to set the foundation right. And so, this next year, you're going to see events, you're going to see partnerships, as Monica said. We're probably going to be out there doing more of these podcasts and really just talking about this. And if anybody out there resonates with what we're trying to do, please get in touch with us.
Well, you're welcome back anytime. All three of you are welcome back anytime on the show. How can people connect with you?
Yeah. Well, AJ's our
you can come see us. Well, we're getting a nascent presence. I'm the social media intern also.
She is.
For Good Trouble.
And our brand intern.
Brand and design. So, you can get a hold of us by email. It's just Kat, AJ, or Monica PK at goodtrouble.vc. But you can just really follow us on Instagram as well and on LinkedIn. Connect with us, because I think as we're starting to roll through these different events and partnerships and things that are happening with the coalition, I think it'll be really important to, as my friend Rachel Williams always says, many hands make light work.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you all for being here today. Brian, how are we doing?
We're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Are we out of time? Good? Or I can go another half hour?
It's time to call Bill.
You got another hour and a half. I think everybody's ready. Yeah, man. Let's just keep going. Let's keep the party rolling.
oh my gosh.
No, we can be done.
Okay, we're at time.
Yes,
All right.
indeed.
But if you want to hear more, go to our YouTube page. You can go to Spotify or Apple, and also listen on 92.9 FM KPCR in Los Gatos. Give them a little plug because we're on that radio station.
Hey.
Brian, wave to rock the turntable.
Can I say badass on the radio?
Whoa, yes.
All right. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening on Silicon Valley Impact. We'll see you all here next week. Woo!